It is Thursday, September 4th.
This is The Warning.
Yesterday, on Capitol Hill, the Epstein survivors gathered, and the coalition that advanced their cause was unusual to say the least. There was Marjorie Taylor Greene, Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna, and Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie. And what these three people, two of whom I have contempt for, that I think sincerely and honestly are five-star whack jobs, terrible public servants, but in this instant, proving that a broken clock can be right twice a day, these two MAGA nutters have not completely lost their capacity to understand right from wrong. So let's listen, and I can't believe I'm saying this, to Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, despite being a conspiracy nut who believes that Jewish space lasers started the fires in California, retains enough sentience and enough decency to appreciate that the rape of little girls by the most powerful men in the world, and then the cover-up of that by the Department of Justice, is not okay. Let's watch.
Can you imagine how terrifying it would be to name names like that? These are some of the richest, most powerful people in the world that could sue these women into poverty and homelessness. Yeah, it's a scary thing to name names, but I will tell you, I'm not afraid to name names. And so if they want to give me a list, I will walk in that Capitol on the House floor and I'll say every damn name that abused these women. I can do that for them, and I'd be proud to do it.
And of course, there's Thomas Massie.
I think it's shameful that this has been called a hoax. Hopefully today we can clear that up. This is not a hoax. This is real. There are real survivors. There are real victims to this criminal enterprise. And the perpetrators are being protected because they're rich and powerful and political donors to the establishment here in Washington, D.C.
Incredibly, what Marjorie Taylor Greene is demanding has been labeled a hostile act by the Trump White House, who does not want the records released of what Trump now calls a Democratic hoax.
Is the Justice Department protecting any friends or donors, sir?
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
But that Marjorie Taylor Greene rightly dismissed on Fox News. This Epstein story is an indictment on the decay in our society, the brokenness in our country. Two absolutely corrupted institutions, two political parties, coiled and entwined against each other in a perpetual death match, like cobras, have decided the most notorious pedophile of the 21st century is the key to beating the other. But here's the deal. The Epstein story isn't about politics. It's about corruption. It's about power. And it is about the abuse of power and the abuse of innocence by power. And power in America can be corrupt across both political parties. And that's the lesson of the Epstein story. Tara Palmieri, who's covered this story for years, has been upfront. It doesn't benefit Republicans, and it doesn't benefit Democrats. The truth benefits the victims, and the judgment against the perpetrators will find many, many men who hold positions at the top of society, and both parties will be well represented. What the Epstein story is about is a two-tiered society. It's about the invisible people, ordinary Americans and their daughters. And it's about the people like Donald Trump, friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and all those people at all those parties, all those fancy men and women. And now, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's partner, has been moved to a minimum security prison, and incredibly, one of the most corrupt and disgusting members of Congress has said that Ghislaine Maxwell's recorded interview with the Department of Justice attorneys exonerates Trump, and it does no such thing. But The interview does indict the Justice Department, because if you listen to it, what you can hear throughout is laughter. The laughter of Maxwell and the laughter of the prosecutors. They're supposed to represent you. And the laughter of all the lawyers in the room as they go through the seediness, as they go through the destruction of these young girls' lives. The manipulation of the American people over this issue is relentless, it is astounding, and it's very real. Did Donald Trump know what Jeffrey Epstein was? Of course he did. And so did a lot of other people. And he used this to advance his political career. But like so many things that Trump does, his attacks were a form of confession, a type of projection. And so here we sit. Donald Trump promised to make America great again. Here, on the 4th of September, 2025, not yet 9 months into his tenure as president, the economy is seizing. Russia has launched its largest attack ever against Ukraine. Putin, Xi Jinping, and the Indian Prime Minister Modi are together with the North Korean tyrant. America is in decline and decay. The American people are growing poorer by the day. Prices are rising. Wages are dropping. Inflation is high, and Trump has made $5 billion from crypto. And he was able to do it while covering up the Epstein list. He'll stop at nothing to create distractions, including the incineration of a speedboat off of Venezuela. Maybe you've seen the video. But like all things with Trump, there's no evidence, just an assertion by Marco Rubio, by Pete Hegseth, by people with the same level of credibility as Ghislaine Maxwell, which is zero. So, here on September 4th of 2025, you can believe your eyes, or you can believe Donald Trump's lies. Everywhere, there is smoke ahead of the fire that is coming for all of America because of the choice that 49.5% of us made in November of last year that has delivered a sentence to the United States of 4 years of madness, with no opportunity to fundamentally arrest it before the midterm elections. But there will be an opportunity, and it starts now. It starts with preparing to win by being clear around what must be stopped: the militarization of our cities, the abuses of our citizens, the lies, the corruption, all of it. And in stopping it, maybe we'll find the leaders who have the wisdom and have the vision to navigate us towards something better. Because your ordinary American deserves that. They deserve better than what they're getting from the crew of scumbags who sit in the People's House at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, where they have desecrated everything that is great and grand about what until recently was the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning. I invite you to join this community where I promise to be honest, blunt, and direct about what is happening in this country. America is in crisis. Follow and subscribe to this channel and on Substack. Thank you.